Welcome back to our good old-fashioned live chat show on a Thursday night. You just need interesting guests and a half-interested interviewer. And it works. And it's old-fashioned, isn't it? Well, I think it works.
It works, yeah. We're slightly biased.
We enjoy it, don't we?
Exactly.
We enjoy it.
We do.
Had some enjoyable cricket today as well, haven't we?
We have indeed, yeah. We'll be talking about that later on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic.
Your mate Joe Root. Wow, blimey. You couldn't have written it, could you?
No, I know.
Couldn't have scripted it.
Amazing.
We will talk about that with James. Liz Byrnes, all-round sports journalist. How many sports do you cover? You're still with us. How many have you covered in your career?
Oh, good grief, in my career. Really, I would say sort of 4 or 5, I would probably.
Yeah, consistently.
Yeah, 4 consistently,
swimming,
I would say then.
Athletics,
football. Cycling.
Yes. And meeting the Pope. We're going to meet the Pope, sort of, in a minute. And Matt Hamshaw, who played for any number of football clubs, well, actually, most recently, Stocksbridge Park Steels.
I did, yeah.
As I was reminded on Twitter. And you're still only 35.
Yeah, I look a lot older, though.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to comment, but we were talking about John Terry during the break. I won't say what we were saying, but of course he's joined Aston Villa. And I was remarking, well, he's actually nearly 37. You're actually younger than John Terry.
And he's still going.
And he's still going. Yeah. And he's earning millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah. Is it for a 1 year? Come on.
Yeah. Rotherham United's first team coach. A new management team with Paul Warne and with Richie Barker, who's been brought in. How unsettling was it? Because you've been through a couple of managers yourself there, and you must think with each change that could be me gone.
Yeah, I think you do, but I just think that's commonplace within the game now. I just think you have to be confident in what you're doing and kind of get on with it. Paul's obviously brought Richie in. Richie's a great bloke, great character. But along with Mike Pollock, goalkeeping coach, who got brought in last year, them 3 all played together. And the atmosphere is fantastic, you know, between the staff now.
I can imagine that.
And we've got 2 new physios in, so it's kind of a new era for the club, and we're hoping it's going to be a productive one.
It's been a productive summer. I was just looking at the signings. Obviously, Danny Ward, as we discussed, has gone to Cardiff. There was a sell-on to Huddersfield as part of that deal. Darren Potter's been signed, midfielder, ex of Owls.
Good player.
Yeah, I think so. But I got hammered on Twitter when I said that recently. Absolutely hammered. I mean, I know that Sheffield Wednesday wasn't his finest hour, or however long he was there, but he was in a pretty average team. Yeah. And I always thought, well, OK, you could see that this is a good holding anchor man who can, you know, OK, he was going sideways there, but with options, he could see a pass.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And
well, you agree? Well,
yeah, all signs are that he's going to do well for us with what we've seen pre-season. He's a great pro, great lad, and you know, he can play football, and that's what we're
as he's proven at MK Dons over the years.
Absolutely, you've seen him at Bramall Lane countless times. Good player, really good player. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's possible for a player at one club not to catch the eye, or to catch the eye for the wrong reasons, but to really thrive and succeed elsewhere, and that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and he wouldn't have played the games and had the career he had as he's not been a good player. So we're looking forward to working with him. Yeah,
I'm sure he'll do well for you. David Ball from Fleetwood, another striker as well in Jamie Proctor from Bolton. Ryan Williams has been signed. Have I missed anybody out?
Yeah, Mike Leakwe from Tranmere we signed, centre-back, who's played in a number of games. But all those players, I know Ryan Williams did really well for Barnsley in League One, but they've all played a good amount of games, and you know, they're good pros, good people. And that's how we like to recruit. And as I say, they've settled in from minute one. You know, sometimes it can take a new player, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes to settle in. Even seasons, you see some players, but you know, all 5 of them have hit the ground running and mingled in well with the group, and you know, we're already building that camaraderie which will stand us in good stead over the season.
It's interesting to know the lengths that you go to in terms of what kind of people they are, because I know how important that is. Would you, for instance, just walk away from a deal on the basis of first impressions, or what you think of people?
Yeah, 100%.
In a meeting.
Yeah, 100%. And we've done that this summer. We've met numerous players and walked out of meetings before we've even sat down with the player.
Well, you said hello and then thought, I don't like the cut of his jib, and you're off?
Yeah, I don't. As probably rightly or wrongly as it sounds, we want good human beings first and foremost. Obviously, they've got to be good players, but they have to fit in of what we are as staff and where we are as a football club. Now, the football club, in our eyes, is a fantastic football club. to some other people on the outside, they might think, oh, well, it's Rotherham United, which we get. But the players who come, generally, over the years, have been the ones who get their head down, work hard, buy into what we want, and we want to put that back into the football club.
What kind of things put you off then at first meeting?
People kind of being on the phones, baseball caps being back to front, walking in with a bit of a swagger, like it's all they want people to look at them. It's all about me. You know, listen, it could be rightly or wrongly. I don't think anybody's got the ingredient as to what's right, 'cause everybody across the country would be doing it, but we're just trying to do it how we want to do it.
If, and this is fantasy, I walked into, let's say, a cafe and as a prospective signing...
I think we'd all know we'd be walking straight out.
of Rotherham United, and I walked across to you and I'm on my phone as I'm walking across the room, that's going to go down badly.
It just depends. If you put the phone down and say, oh, I'm ever sorry about that, shake my hand.
It was an important call.
No problem, that's fine. But when people kind of are on the phone trying to shake your hand, I just think there's a general manner which is...
You're incidental to this.
Yeah, I just think it probably is a little bit old school, and it is a little bit, but that's what we believe in.
If they're like that, you know, how keen are they to join me at Rotherham?
A, to come. B, how will they find it when we're at our training ground and rain's coming in middle of December on a cold day?
Doesn't do that at Rotherham.
No, well, no, it never does it?
Microclimate.
And don't wear that baseball ball cap back to front.
No, exactly.
Yeah, just wear it properly.
Yeah. Or not at all. Yeah, by the sounds of it.
It's fascinating. It really is. It's quite reassuring, Liz, isn't it? Because we hear footballers get a very bad press at times, and I think it's exaggeratedly so. There is a lot of very good people in football, including present company. But it is refreshing to hear that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it was interesting what you were saying when you know, sort of, you might get a perception that, oh, look, it's all about me when he's got his cap on, and, you know, that says to me actually what Rotherham are about, or it's very much about the team. It's got to be somebody who's about the team. They don't want the glory. It's a collective. Yeah. You know, which I think is what Sheffield United were about last season, very much under Wilder. I think also people like Huddersfield were the same. Yes. You know, it was all that collective, it was a vision and it was collective and it was moving forward. So, yeah, I do find that sort of thing refreshing.
Would you say that that's coming in a little bit more? Because, you know, it might just be the fact that it's Sheffield United, and obviously I've heard you say it as well. Is that becoming more important? Because there are so many good players that really, if you've got player A and player B with different, you know, sort of very similar abilities, you're going to go with player B who's probably a nicer person or a better bloke to be around?
I think sometimes it's the belief of the manager. Some managers won't really care about everything we've just said. That's their opinion. Like I said earlier, there's no right or wrong, because if there were a right, everybody across country would be doing it. So, you know, the gaffer at Paul Warne at Rotherham United, he firmly believes in that. And if you got any of his players and spoke to them, he'd be manners, speaking to people, coming across correctly, respecting the badge. That's what he believes in, and as a club, that's what we all buy into as staff, so that's what we're trying to build.
That's good, I like that.
Being humble and showing humility in life is important in many situations, not least in meeting the Pontiff. And we're going to sort of put ourselves in your place now. This was a recent meeting with the Pope Francis, yeah?
Yes, less than a fortnight ago.
Okay,
yes.
And what were the circumstances?
The circumstances were that I was out in Rome.
We're going to see him on the screen in a minute.
Oh, right, okay. Covering a swim meet called the Seven Hills.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was going to be a papal visit, but I thought it was just going to be all, you know, the Italian swim team, but also the Olympic champions, world champions. And it was on the Saturday morning, and the next thing I know, one of the heads of the Italian Federation came bowling over and said, you know, it's possible to, you know, if you would like to come, we have a spare, you know, we have a spare place, and, you know, would you like to come to the Vatican? And
you said, well, I'll just see what I'm doing. I've got a, you know, whatever, I've got another appointment. I'm going to meet, you know, Matt Hamshaw to sign for Rotherham. I can't do it.
So his speech then, not obviously in English?
No, in Italian.
Yes,
it was in Italian. So I went along. I had to be had some clothes donated to me, because they did say, "Did you bring a black dress with you?" And, you know, closed-toe shoes. And I thought, well, no, I've got flip-flops on. But so I had some sort of Italian kit donated, and sort of walk through the back of the Vatican, and you know, it's just incredible. It's walking through history. You know, the Swiss Guard are there, and it's really hard to describe. It's just, like I say, just walking through thousands of years of history. Went into a large room, all painted, you know, Renaissance, and sat down. But I mean, it's quite strange. I noticed that everybody, all of us, were using our cameras.
Yes.
So it's sort of like you've got the massive history
you
there.
were wondering, dare I take a... And it was perfectly...
It was fine, which I was surprised about. And then a door opened.
You didn't get a selfie with him, though, did you?
No, I didn't, but somebody else did.
Wow, right, okay.
So it was.
Well, he's on Twitter, you know.
Pontifex, isn't it?
Yes, he's on Twitter. Yeah, I should have copied him into the.
Yeah, he could have done.
Might have retweeted it.
Yeah, live link. Yeah.
Oh, when it goes out on YouTube later, I'll copy the Pope in. And we'll see.
Right,
see how far that one gets. Yeah.
And did he say? Did you exchange any conversation?
Well, I mean, we all. I hadn't expected to meet him at all. We all just got into single file, and I was completely shocked. I thought maybe a few people would meet him, but it was completely unexpected. So I got into single file, and you know, then there was the Pope in front of me, and so shook hands. But normally when you shake hands, because it's a greeting, isn't it? So you normally say, "How do you do?" or "Pleased to meet you." And so I just sat there, you know, just stood there and went, and you know, it's the Pope.
Is he an owl or a blade? That's what I want.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, he's Argentinian, so I don't know whether there's a Sabella link going on or...
Maybe.
There we go.
Maybe he's a Blades
He
fan.
could be a Blades fan. Talking
I
of,
like that.
Well, that's brilliant.
Thinking.
It's a fantastic story. And talking of Blades fans, a certain Blades fan did extremely well in the Test cricket arena at Lord's today. And do you know what occurs to me? That the whole city gets behind Joe Root in the way that, I mean, Owls do as well, in the way that perhaps they haven't done with Kell Brook. You know, that controversy over, I don't know whether it's the flamboyance of Kell Brook or whatever.
Yeah.
But Joe is solidly supported, I think, by both.
I think so. I think because they probably just know he's a Sheffield lad, and I think that's it. I think there's almost like a normality there, isn't there? And I don't want to sort of badmouth Kell Brook, because Kell Brook's great. He's great for the city, great for, you know, what he's achieved in boxing is amazing. But I think that with Joe Root, you know, people see him down Ecky Road. He's very pleasant with people. He is, as you see him on the TV. You know, I think people of Sheffield feel like he's just the kid next door, and I think that's probably why Owl, Blade, whatever. You know, that's why they sort of resonate with him, because, you know, and he's from Dore, and, you know, his dad's knocking about, and his brother, and it all feels closer to home, doesn't it? Whereas I think a world champion boxer winning a title in Las Vegas or something, probably not quite this, you know, it's a different kind of world, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah,
I can see exactly what he's saying. But he's from a humble and very good family, and they're all so grounded. Yeah. I mean, I don't know Joe like you do. You almost grew up with him. Yeah. But I know members of his family. I know his dad, and I know his granddad, Don, and watched quite a bit of Sheffield Collegiate. You know, I bump into him most Saturdays. And you'd never think that this was the grandfather of the England cricket captain. There's absolutely no side to him whatsoever.
I think they're just excited. You know, every time you sort of speak to his dad, or you speak to, you know, Joe, or, you know, the whole family, they're excited. They don't lose touch of it. But they, you know, how exciting it is, and, you know, if I go to a test match sort of on the special tickets or whatever, they're like, you know, oh wow, it's great, isn't it? You know, and he's played 50 odd tests now. It's not like the novelty's worn off, but at the same time, they're still, you know, I think they're just grounded. They just get it in perspective. They see it like we see it, but they're also happy that it's their son playing. You know, I think it's just a fairy tale. Yeah, it's great.
And as for today's events, I mean, you know Joe. I don't know if he was a bag of nerves or what.
He was. He's been difficult to get hold of over the last week or so. Yeah, and then I think he's just sort of switched off from this. He's obviously put absolutely everything into it. Very nervous this morning. I saw on the TV he's been interviewed. He was very shaky, not usually like that. And then, you know, he came in a tough position, but he always comes good in that sort of situation, and he's just smashed it.
Did that help him in a sense? Those early wickets, instead of having to wait nervously in the dressing room, he's in within 20 minutes.
I think so. Yeah,
that may help him.
I think basically he had time. He couldn't be free scoring. You know, he basically just had to stay in there and try and build something back up again, and built up a good partnership with Ben Stokes, and I think they put on about 140 together. Yeah, and then by that time he was in, and then he'd sort of switched the pressure back round again, as it were, put the pressure back onto the bowlers. He did get lucky a couple of times. He got dropped a couple of times, but I think
you need that though, don't you?
You don't get. No one gets scores 184 not out. Whoever they are, whether you're Joe Root or the man playing for the third team on a Saturday, you don't do that without having a drop or a dodgy LB not given or something. So he's fully deserved, really, fully deserved.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic story, and he'll figure in your roundup, I've no doubt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, sure. Yeah. Maybe we've covered it all.
What else?
We'll see. Oh, you ready for me to go in?
I was handing to you. I was going to have a rest.
Fair enough. You have a rest. Talk about the Sheffield Eagles. They managed to. If you remember from last week's show, there were 3 defeats on the spin. Not very good. They had 3 tough opponents. The third one was against Hull KR, who are top of the Kingston Press Championship. They beat Swinton Lions though last weekend to get themselves back on track. And on Sunday they play against the London Broncos down at the Hive in London, and Sheffield United as well. I'm sure you've already touched on it, but Sheffield United signed Richard Stearman, great signing, defender. He was on loan at Wolves last year, and of course he was just come from Fulham as well. Sort of signing I think the Blades needed. And earlier in the week, of course, Owls signed George Boyd. I'm sure that if you were looking out for some signings, you'll be fully aware of those 2 signings as well. Boxing, we've already talked about Kell Brook, but what about Jamie McDonnell? He's a local lad as well. He's going to fight in Yorkshire for the first time in 4 years when he defends his WA title later this year, and that's promoter Eddie Hearn. He's revealed earlier this week that he'd agreed terms to stage McDonnell's rematch with Laborio Solis, but he said where that's going to be, I don't know. It could be anywhere. It could be the Sheffield Arena, maybe. We'll see. Maybe at Bramall Lane, maybe at Hillsborough. Who knows? We'll find out in due course. Well, in golf, it's the Open Championship in a couple of weeks. Danny Willett and Matt Fitz preparing meticulously for that one. Of course, in action at the Irish Open this week at Port Stewart. Fitz 6 under par. Tied 6th he is as well. Willett 1 under par, low scoring day, so he's 80th, but another one will see him through to the weekend, I'm sure, tomorrow. But the Open Championship, of course, the good thing about it is that you can qualify. If you're a sort of good amateur player or a local professional, you can qualify through the regional qualifying. 3 rounds away from the Open, it's incredible. Right. 2 local golfers, Joe Dean from Renishaw and Hillsborough Golf Club and Adam Hodgkinson from Hallows up in Dronfield. They've qualified for the Open.
Have they?
Yeah, absolutely
I know Adam
fantastic.
Hodgkinson. I've known him from way back. Yeah,
well, there we go.
He used to live round the corner from me. Blonde-haired.
That's right,
Quite short. Well, similar colour hair to you.
Yeah. Well, he's been the club pro. He's sort of almost given up on the playing side. It's like fairy tale stuff he's got in the Open. So he'll be rubbing shoulders with McIlroy, Johnson, Jason Day, Lee Westwood, all those types. Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Well done, Adam.
Yeah.
Very pleased to hear it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's exciting stuff. And of course, we've already talked about Joe. What a day for him. England captain. If you're not sure about it or you don't know your cricket, well, first day as England captain, first day at Lords, and he's come out and scored 184 not out. Not bad.
As you do.
Yeah, standard.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Fantastic. So is that it?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I'm sure that everyone at Sheffield Collegiate, his mum, his dad, his brother, everyone who knows him will be really, really thrilled with that. And as Alan said, the whole city as well, whether you are an owl or a blade. So
you couldn't have scripted it. It's just a magnificent effort. It will settle him down as well. And I'm one of those who said, I think it's a bit too early for him to be captain. I was fearing the best player becoming captain because it's different in cricket to football, isn't it, Matt? Your best player becoming captain in cricket carries the world on his shoulders. Yeah. But it looks like he could carry it, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, but I think it's characters, and I'm a firm believer that like certain characters, no matter how old they are born to be leaders, and he leads with a different brand of leadership. He always looks calm, he always looks assured, he always looks like he's enjoying what he's doing, and probably as somebody playing within that team, you look at him, and if he's your leader and he's enjoying it, then that'll kind of go through the squad. And as I say, I don't know him, but that from the outside is certainly something that it looks like he just brings to the team.
He's been a leader almost from a very young age. Playing at 14 was the guy that was revving up teammates.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's different. In different sports, the captaincy is different, and I don't know. Obviously, you've covered a lot of sports, you've seen it, and obviously football yourself. I think cricket, you're almost like an on-field manager. You're making 150 decisions a day if you're in the field all day. Where's he going? We're going to move him a bit, a bit finer, bringing him closer to the bat. It's so different, isn't it? So difficult. So I think that's all to come. It's all right, with the bat, but we'll see, won't we? So very, very exciting. Yeah.
Right, what's going to happen next season then, Liz? What are your predictions?
Oh,
I get asked them every day on, and I always sit on that fence.
You'll not knock him off that fence.
No, that fence is brilliant.
Well, I've already sort of put that fence up, haven't I? When I said how unpredictable it was, so it's impossible to predict. So I'm going to stick with it.
You're going to stick to that. Okay, well,
I think Wednesday definitely top 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go top 6.
I'll go competing.
No reason not.
I'll go competing. Yeah.
I really wouldn't like to say. I think it's an extremely tough division. You could see someday who you wouldn't fancy in the slightest getting promoted. One thing I am pleased is that United Wednesday derbies are back. So it's good for the city, it's good for the fans.
I'm taking those weeks off.
Yeah. yeah. But no, listen, you want local area to do well, we hope that we can join them next year.
Yeah, I think Rotherham are a good bet in League One. I think Chesterfield can be in League Two because I think they're making some very good signings. Not least, they're interested in Jose Semedo, I know, and I'm really hoping they land him. We talk about good characters. You can't get much of a better one.
No,
and
great
a player.
Yeah, great lad, great professional, been a great servant. Sheffield Wednesday, and certainly he's more than capable of playing in League Two. So
and Chris O'Grady, who they've signed, that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%. So it just shows that they're having a real go. And Gary Caldwell coming in, another good manager, young manager. You want to see him do well.
Plays a good brand of football as well. That it can be quite exciting, and he's got an opportunity to play it with his own players now. Well, I have stuck my neck out to a degree because I'm on a break from this weekend, and I don't get back until the season's just about starting. And I've written a column for next week's Sheffield Telegraph predicting a top half of the table finish for Sheffield United. I think that's bold enough, really.
Yes.
I think that's bold enough based on the kind of things we've been talking about here and that impetus. I think impetus takes you a lot further when you're Sheffield United playing in front of 20, 25, even 30,000 than it would, say, a Rotherham United, with no disrespect, playing in front of smaller crowds. The impetus and that.
I think it's always difficult for teams coming up. We've seen with Barnsley this year. If Sheffield United overachieve come Christmas, the big clubs will come and take the best players. And Barnsley have found that because the finances, but everybody has a price. And if some of the offers, like for example Barnsley, you look at the prices that they got for their players. If somebody come in Sheffield United and said, right, we'll give you 7-8 million, it probably wouldn't get turned down, and that's the difficulty that you have financially in the Championship now. It is ridiculously tough, and because the big clubs go and get the best players.
Especially if you're new to it coming in, I'd imagine. If you've been in League One for a few years, and then all this sort of inflation has happened at the top of the Championship, you come into that, it's gonna be difficult, isn't it?
Well, you mentioned a lot of clubs will cast their eye over them, and then they'll go, right, we'll see how they do first 3-4 months at season. And they don't even care that the price has gone up over previous years. They look and go, oh, we're not paying that for him. The money within the league now is astronomical, really, and unfortunately, that's how it is.
There's only one way for the likes of Sheffield United to keep hold of all their players, and that's to go right up there with those players.
And
then make it harder.
Again, you see what they're building from outside, and you'd like to think that at the minute they all want to stay there. And
you'd like to think so, yeah. There's a lot going for them, as there is for quite a lot of our clubs, including Rotherham. Thanks ever so much again, Matt. It's been brilliant.
Thank you for having me.
Chatting to you again. And Liz Byrnes, first time debut. We never put her through that initiation ceremony. But she did meet the Pope, and that makes her exempt. And James, thanks very much indeed. I'm going to take a break. The show will be back because there's lots of recorded shows. We have some great shows on YouTube later. We'll see you in a few weeks. See you. Bye.